We live from the Sea Hive. I'm Black, and you are.
Cecilia Robinson, aka CC, aka CC Reacts.
Yeah, we're gonna have a discussion tonight. We're gonna discuss the secrets to effective communication in relationships. What is your definition of effective communication in a relationship?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the definition. Well, my definition. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't
You
know.
don't know what effective communication is, period.
I mean, I feel like I have effective communication, but just to have a simple, but just for me to have a simple definition of, I open my mouth and communicate. I communicate my thoughts. I communicate my feelings. I feel like that's effective, and I do it all the time, whether you want to hear it or not. So if you want to ask me my definition of effective communication, saying what's on your mind and saying what's on your heart all the dang on time.
Do you have things that you would attribute to effective communication, like things like active listening? When somebody is effectively communicating with you, what constitutes to you that they are actually listening to you and y'all are actually receiving data from one another? Y'all are actually building, you're actually getting something from the conversation or distributing something from a conversation. What constitutes that to you?
Their response to me and their actions. So if a person is listening to me effectively, their response to me, they're going to have a certain type of response. So it's just like, sometimes I'll be playing on my phone. I'll be on my phone. And if you're talking to me, like sometimes I'll be so into the phone, I don't hear. So I'm not actively listening. It's not effective. But if I'm actively listening, active, that's the right word, listening to you, I can give you a real response, not something made up.
How important to you is communication in a relationship?
Communication is high. It's high. It's like the second thing.
It's like the second thing was the first thing.
You fine as hell.
I just asked you what the first thing. You said communication was the second thing. I was asking you what's the first
Um,
thing.
the first thing in the relationship, first of all, I got to be attracted to the person. So that's the
Right.
so before we get to any type of communication or anything in the relationship, I got to be attracted to you. So once I can see that, what I'm saying, this is what. All right, let me go ahead and see what your fine ass talking about. Yep.
What do you? Okay, so to me, I think communication is. I would say it's probably the second. I would agree with you when you say it's the second most important thing. I think attraction is extremely important. I know a lot of people would disagree with that. They would disagree with attraction being important because people have been conditioned to here recently to say that, oh, it's a business contract, or a lot of people are doing things for money, but attraction is definitely important for solidifying the foundation. I need passion. I need that. You know what I'm saying? That's a requirement for me. But after that, it's definitely communication, because if I can't communicate with you, I can't talk to you, I can't build with you. We essentially don't have anything in common, or we can't find what we have in common if we can't communicate with one another. And I also think that the most important thing is being able to hear and actively listen to the person that you're in a relationship with. I guess my next question to you is, how important is active listening to you? Are you familiar with active listening, first of all?
Yes, thanks to you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm very familiar with active listening.
Okay.
And I want to say active listening is very important for the simple fact, if you talking to your significant other and they're not listening to you, it's gonna piss you off. Like you don't even hear me talking to you. I mean, I'm guilty of it because sometimes I do it. Sometimes I do it, but you need to listen to your partner, because you need to get an understanding. Because whatever they're telling you is something that's important to them, whether you think it's BS or not. You really have to listen to them. And it could be just something simple. If you don't listen, you could miss key things.
Elaborate on that. What is missing key things, and what can happen when you do miss key things, in your opinion?
Key things can be as simple as missing a turn, following directions. Key things can be as simple as, damn, I missed my period. you, and you didn't hear that because you wasn't paying attention, you wasn't listening. Those key things steers the direction of the relationship that day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
the
mean,
little things that count.
I would agree. I'm gonna give a more general, direct definition. Active listening is a communication technique used in counseling, training, and conflict resolution, which requires a listener to fully concentrate, understand, respond, and then remember what is being said. So I think the first thing that you definitely have to have in active listening is a full intention, then nonverbal engagement, reflecting, clarifying, empathizing, and avoiding interruptions and responding appropriately and remembering what they said. Let's just go dive deep into those points. We'll start with full attention. How annoyed do you get when a person is not giving you their full attention in a conversation? In a relationship, I'm sorry.
Oh, in a relationship,
Yeah.
I get very annoyed because I just want your attention, period. So if I feel that you're important enough for me to open my mouth to you and me to share what's on my mind and my heart, and you're not paying attention, I want a box.
Is that in all relationships with your homegirls and your man and all that? Is that all relationships or just specifically your significant other?
I want to be real and say it's in all relationships. You got to understand, I'm not a person who talks a lot to everybody. But if I feel like you're important enough for me to open my mouth and share a conversation with you, or share a thought with you, or share a, something that's on my heart, and you're not listening, I feel like it's disrespectful, which it is.
Say you're out to dinner and somebody is sitting across from you, you're out and y'all have a relationship with one another, and that person is scrolling through their phone. Uh, Do you think that those people are actively listening to the people that's across from them? Would you say that? Is
Absolutely
it
not.
possible?
It's not possible. I know people say, well, I can walk and chew bubble gum. You can't do two things at once. You're gonna miss something up in there. That's why a lot of kids failed in school, because the teacher was trying to tell them something and they weren't paying attention, so they missed a step. I don't want you missing a step when I'm talking to you. No matter what I'm talking about, once again, if I open my mouth to talk to you, my attention is on you. I want you to give me that same level of respect. Pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like when I'm on a date or even when I'm out with my family and friends, and that we're supposed to be in an intimate setting, and somebody is on their phone when somebody else is talking. I believe that that's disrespectful. I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but I believe that if you're gonna go out with somebody and y'all gonna be in public, y'all sharing time together, y'all are trying to have a conversation. I believe that being on the phone is a real big sign of disrespect, and I don't. I think people should really be aware of that. You know what I mean? Do you think that it's a? I mean, do you think that it's justification for that? You know, a lot of people will try to justify that. What do you think is some justifications that people would have for being on the phone when they out with other people and engaging in communication with them?
Sick family member, death, work. Other than that, put your damn phone down. Pay attention to the person that's in front of you, because you could have easily been outside with them, whoever you trying to look for inside your phone. But you here with me. So if you're gonna be here with me, I want all of you here with me. Don't give me your body and your man somewhere else now. Don't have your man on the other side of town. You know.
Another one is the other one is nonverbal engagement, using body language to show attentiveness, such as nodding, eye contact, and appropriate facial expressions. That's basically just letting somebody know that you hear what they're saying. You think that that's important? I think I've seen a lot of people that just kind of struggle with that when you talking to them and they just got this weird look on their face and you like, do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you think that that's just how some people is, or you think that you need nonverbal engagement to realize that you are getting through it, that people are really understanding what you're saying?
It depends on the person. Like some people just slow and they can't comprehend real quick. You know, other people just hate people and they don't want you talking to them. It's like it's 20 other people at this table, but why do you pick me to talk to me? So they're just looking at you, hoping you catch, you get a hint, a clue, hoping you get a clue. Stop talking to me. I don't want to talk right now. They probably got something else going on, but it just depends on the person.
What about in a relationship? How important is it for you to acknowledge that your partner hears you and they are receiving what you're saying. How important is that? What about in the relationship?
It's real important for the simple fact if you're halfway listening to your partner get upset with you, you don't got no reason to be defensive for the simple fact you're not listening. So it's like at that point when you with your partner and your partner is talking to you, there's nothing more important going on outside in the outside world other than the person who you're with engaging with you. I mean, and it's you because if you was the one that if you want to, how can I say this? You want your partner to listen to you, so why you not listening to your partner? If that makes sense.
Do you think people think about that? Do you think that people always put how they would like to feel in certain situations when they behave in certain ways?
Some people do, some people don't. I got to be honest. It just is what it is. Sometimes people get comfortable with their relationships. They get comfortable and they get lost, and it's just like, well, you know, I'm sitting right here, so I got to be listening to you, or some stuff like that. You know, so they not as on point as they should be. And once again, I've been guilty of this. So it's like once they've been called out, like me, I was called out on my stuff. All right, hold on. Let me fix this. Let me pay attention. Let me pay attention. But I think people get comfortable with people and then they just start slacking a little bit.
Give me a time that you've been called out where somebody was like, "Man, you hear me talking to you?" Do you have
Gotta
anything that
go
come to
here.
your mind? I mean, no, I'm just asking you
No,
because
I got plenty to come to my man.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so time frame, we've been together almost 3 years. We've been
Right,
together 3 years at this point.
right.
And you know, I got the CC Reacts channel. I get a lot of love, but I get trolls. You know what I'm saying? On my channel. This had to be like a month ago, maybe a month ago. And somebody was talking some BS on my page. And I had the thought in my head, I'm finna get him a piece of my mind. You know, I was gonna give him a good piece of my mind. So I'm texting, and this message was coming from them hard. I had dug back, my elbow was dipped in the Mississippi, and I was saying some stuff. Whole time though, you talking to me. You having a whole conversation with me, and we're in a car. I hadn't heard a word you were saying because I was so engulfed in what I had going on. And when I came back, when I came back to reality, you was like, you ain't heard a damn word I said to you because you over there texting on the phone. And I was like, no, I ain't heard nothing. It kind of pissed you off. But here's the thing. It didn't feel good. It did not feel good. It did not feel good. I ain't like the way you said the stuff to me, but I gotta check myself because why I'm not paying attention to you? I'm sitting in the whole car with you. We just came from having a meal. Why aren't I paying attention to my man?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I remember that, and I think that was for me. That was a collection of things. Like that was a collection of things that day because was we had we just had a meal or had we come from? I think we maybe was coming back from the gym. We was coming back from the gym, and the thing about you that a lot of I mean they don't know this, but this is something that I see. Cece, you get fully focused on what you're doing, and to me, I'm a real energy person. So when we're not working or something like that, I don't think that I look at going at trolls or people that on the avatar, I look at that as shooting at ghosts. So that's not a real person. And I think giving those types of people your energy it can destroy your day. It mess up everything that you got going on surrounding you. And that was just the instance of it actually happening to where Cece became irate because of something that she saw. And that's why she tries to be limited on that stuff and even paying attention to it at this point. But she saw something and she became enraged and engulfed in that. And then she could begin to fully hone in like a one of them heat-seeking missiles. You know what I'm saying? And that's all she's paying attention to. And I'm sitting here having a full conversation with you, and you can't hear nothing that I'm saying. And I'm looking at you, and I know that you engulfed in that. And that, but at the same time, at that particular day when the elements is right, I'm pissed off because you're not listening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to you and I'm giving you my undivided attention and I'm giving you my energy. And as you fully engage in some BS to a faceless troll that you don't even know if it's a man, a woman, a 13-year-old boy, my 600-pound life competitor, you don't know who this person is. And you like really have gave them a piece of you and that can really that really made me mad,
Well,
you
I didn't
know.
give it. I didn't. They don't even know I was getting ready to give them a piece of me because I was like 7 sentences in, and you caught my attention. So I deleted the post and just blocked them. But here's the thing. Um, I'm finna tell you why I was so that moment, because that moment just hurt my feelings.
Mm,
Because like a year ago, I want to say this was a year ago. I said those same words to you. I was having a conversation with you. I had came, we had went to the post office, got in the car, and I was talking to you, but you was in your phone. And I think it was about Clarissa Shields or some stuff like that. But it was a boxing match, something.
mm.
And I'm talking to you, and I'm like, you don't hear me talking to you? And you was like, nah, what? Like and it's like I felt some type of way then, and just for me to turn around and do the same thing, it's like if I said something to you, why would I? If I said something to you a whole year ago, why would I turn around and do the same thing to you?
Yeah. And I'm not looking to justify, but that I remember that, and it was a while back ago. I was actually talking to Clarissa Shields on a live. She was talking to me on a live, and I was going back and forth and paying attention to what she said, and then I didn't hear what you said. And I remember that day. I remember you got upset we was leaving the post office. I guess the next thing out there, nonverbal engagement, is reflecting. And basically reflecting is basically paraphrasing or being able to communicate back what somebody had just said to you to let them know that you was fully listening to them. Do you do that, or do you think that that's important? Somebody when you to realize, to verify that they actually heard you, or is it anything that you require?
It's not required, but at this point, I mean, excuse me, every day I'm learning something different about myself, and I'm learning something different about you, and I'm learning something different about our relationship. And every day I'm working, trying to get better to make sure we have the best relationship possible. So after I was called out for not paying attention to my phone, even if I'm in my phone before you start talking, if you start talking, I repeat what you said to me if I'm still looking down, to let you know that I was listening to you.
Mm,
So I'm going to repeat what you said back to you, and I'm going to look at you for confirmation, and then I'm going to give you a response. And
right.
then I'm going to politely put my phone to the side so we don't have no more discrepancies up in here.
I'm real big on that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, that's even how I retain information. How I retain information is basically I reflect on it myself. Like if I see something that I really want to internalize that's really important to me out of a book or something that I'm reading, I'll reflect on that. I'll look at it in a multitude of ways and stuff like that. And it may even resonate with me through the rest of the day. But it's definitely something that I like. I like to reflect on different things, especially like intriguing things that you may have said to me in a comment. I mean, excuse me, in a conversation. An intriguing thing that you may have said to me in a conversation that's gonna resonate with me, just to enhance your personality and who you are to me. You know what I'm saying? Like a good quote from a book or some shit. I'd be like, damn, that was deep, But after reflecting, it's clarifying, it's asking questions to get more information, and it shows interest in what the speaker is saying, which is like I just said, or what you say, or okay, you said this, you said that, you said this, you said that, and they letting the person know that you got it. I'm gonna be real with you. People don't really, in my experience, and I'm gonna ask you the same, but in my experience, I don't see people. Those are very big things that I don't see people doing. I don't see people really reflecting on what somebody told them. I don't see people even clarifying. I guess in our community, you'll hear somebody say, I got you, I got you, I got you. You know what I'm saying? But is that really clarifying? Is that really reflecting, or is that just enough? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, a lot of people don't respect other people. I'm sorry. A lot of people don't respect other people's opinions or commitments or different things like that. So people just say little taboo things to push people off so they can stop talking to them and they can go on about their way. Another thing is people want to be heard, but they want to be heard, but they don't want to comprehend. It seems like comprehending things is too much work. It's too much work to understand what a person is saying. So they just gonna take in and hold on to whatever they think about. whatever they think the other person said, instead of getting a clear understanding and going on about their business, and then erase that from life. And then if it have to come back around, they say, well, you ain't told me that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that, because you wasn't listening.
Now we getting kind of deep because this is something that's really important. Do people even listen anymore? Because it's these two key components. I don't necessarily, I don't see them anymore. I don't see people like, it's always somebody. If you go back to what we saying with full attention, everybody is always on their phone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is always doing two or three things at a time. And when people is talking to them, it's very easy for them to miss a lot of stuff. It's very easy for them to miss things in the conversation because they were doing too many things and they wasn't paying attention, and they not clarifying. They're not reflecting on what some people are saying. They're just completely going on autopilot. And I mean, and I'm just saying that just through conversations that I have on a day-to-day basis all around, not to mention a relationship, but that can be a problem as well. But do people even listen anymore based on what you're hearing from these key components on what active listening really is?
Not really. Like I said, people want to be heard. They
Mm,
don't. People want to be heard. They don't want to listen. Take the comment section.
mm,
Seriously, take the comment section. I have a lot of shorts. We even gonna get some of these comments up on this video. But a lot of people go on those videos and just say some of the craziest things. And it's like, how did you get that out of that video? Like, you're not even trying to understand what's going on. Like, how did you think about that? I got a video called "Did She Give Me the Herpes?" It
mm.
don't say I have herpes nowhere. It don't say that. It says, paraphrase, it says that I was using the floor rag instead of my face rag and gave myself staph.
Mm.
You had to been have herpes. What the hell you got that from? Who told you that? Like, who told you that? Like, and another thing, people will listen to you, not to understand, but to hear key words to make themselves feel better about their life. So it's like, people will listen enough to try to put you down. They don't listen to comprehend or to understand. That listening thing is it's like a spinning top. It start out one way and then start going willy-nilly. So depending on who you talk to, your words are falling on deaf ears, because whatever you done said done went 3,000 other ways. So
I think I'm really having a hard time internalizing that. I think I have a hard time internalizing that because at this point, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really struggle on why I even have conversations with people. And I'm just saying, what are we having a conversation for? And a lot of people get mad at me because I really believe, I don't only believe in gossiping and stuff like that. I only believe in having conversations for building. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe conversations are for. I don't believe that you just talking is useful. You know what I'm saying? And I get a lot of grief about that, and a lot of people feel like I don't mess with them or something like that just because I don't believe in non-constructive conversations. Non-constructive conversations. I don't believe in non-constructive conversations outside of with my woman. You know what I'm saying? With my woman, we gonna play and high side and have a good time. Or my children, we gonna play and have a good time and talk about a bunch of silly stuff because that's important to edify our relationship. We're growing, but just people in general and giving that much effort to outside effort is, unless you're building something effective, I don't think that that's necessary. And what winds up happening is destructive conversations. And like you said, everybody's dissecting what you said, and when they hear what they want to hear, and it's to the point now, like, people try to use everything to weaponize it against you, like the craziest rant where you said you don't even eat frosted flakes. Remember, you said you don't eat frosted flakes. Now all of a sudden you eating frosted flakes. Like, what are you talking about, man? So it's to the point to where you don't even want to give people any kind of information or nothing, because it seems like they're using it at any given moment to destroy you with it. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, but
or
that's how I
destroy
feel.
others.
Huh?
Or destroy others. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Right, right. Do you feel that? Or do you think I'm jumping way off the cliff with that?
Initially, before I got with you, I none of those things ever even plagued my mind. But when I got with you, I started thinking a lot deeper, unless I'm playing. But I really don't like talking to people because I understand things differently now. And I see people take words and twist them around, turn them around, and they don't pay attention to nothing you say. You just told them. You just told them. Like verbatim. I just told you what it is, and then it took that and did something totally different with it. So I don't like talking to people no more either, unless it's my man or my children.
And then you teaching your children, that's your job as a parent to be teaching them. But as far as like relationships and stuff like that, and then you watch, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to trust people. But in a relationship, you have to do these things. It's called constructive building and constructive conversations and stuff like that. When I mean relationship, at this from this perspective, I mean just like man and woman. You know what I mean? Girlfriend and boyfriend, or whatever kind of setting that you have. But to go a little bit deeper, the next one is, after clarifying, is empathizing, demonstrating that you understand, and demonstrating understanding and empathy for the speaker's feelings, perspectives, and even if there's a disagreement. In my opinion, you're not the best empathizer. You don't care. It's like if your feelings, you know what I'm saying, and what you think,
You
because
think I
like,
said F your feelings?
no, I ain't gonna say you say that to me, but if you want to get on savage time, you know what I'm saying? Me, I feel like I'm always empathizing.
You empathize too damn much. You are the most empathetic person I've ever met in my whole entire life. I've met old ladies with more savage bones in their body when it comes to empathy than you. And it's like sometimes certain people don't deserve your empathy. And by you being the type of man that you are, I've seen certain individuals try to play on it. And people, I'm a hard female, very hard female. And I know how women think. You have a lot of empathy, and especially towards women. And it's like, man, no, hell no. Hell no. No, 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 no. To you, it's like you're being a great human being. To me, them just they trying it. No, no, hell no. I don't care. I don't care if your chef fell off. He's not fixing nothing. I don't care if your tire broke. He ain't got nothing to do. I don't care. I just don't care about none of that. That has nothing to do with you. You know, when you're the type of person that you are, people seek you out and they don't deserve it. They don't deserve that empathy. They seek you out to get it because they can't get it nowhere else because they done burn every damn bridge. And it's like, I don't know. No, no, absolutely not. And if it's F you, it's really F you.
I'm gonna just say this. I feel like my empathy comes from a place of diplomacy, because maybe in a situation I had to take charge and be in an environment where I had to take charge. When you're a leader, you have to understand diplomacy. You have different types of leaders. You know what I'm saying? You have a dominant leader. A dominant leader is going to lead with aggression. They're going to be very firm. They're going to be like you are. You're a very dominant leader. You know what I'm saying? Me, I believe in diplomacy. I believe in freedom of speech, even though I may not agree that what a person says. I believe that they have the right to say whatever they want to say. Now, I also believe that once you say what you say, you have to be able to be held accountable by whatever consequences that come with that. To me, that those are very important things. But you have to be able to express yourself freely. People want to just do whatever they want to do without paying a tax. Okay? That's not how it works. You have to pay the tax. Once you do or say something, you have to pay the tax that come with that. You know what I'm saying? But it shouldn't be nothing that somebody should stop you from saying or stop you from believing, because you have the right to believe and say whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But once you do that, you're going to receive the consequence for whatever your actions or your behavior was. But at the same time, I don't believe that a person should be denied their beliefs. You know what I mean? And so when you have that type of mentality, you have a lot of empathy. You know what I'm saying? I understand why somebody would be prideful in their ancestral lineage and their heritage and things like that. I understand those things. They may be in a direct contrast in my beliefs and what I believe, but both of us should be allowed to believe whatever we want to believe. And they may even clash. May even clash in violence. They may even clash in heated arguments and whatever the case may be. But you have that right. You have that right as a human being. Once those rights and stuff are stripped away, we got another set of problems. So I believe in empathy. You know what I'm saying? I have empathy for everybody. I have empathy for a lot of different people, but that does not mean that I agree with them. But in order to have effective communication in somebody's beliefs and in somebody's thought process, if you have empathy, you can gain a little bit of understanding, and possibly you may even, and I think this is the problem right here. A lot of people don't want to change their beliefs because their beliefs are their beliefs. They don't want to change because the truth may not be in line with their beliefs. Sometimes I'm listening to somebody and I hear what their beliefs is, and their beliefs are actually accurate, but that ain't in line with the line that I'm pushing. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people don't want to hear that shit out. When you listening and you actually listening to somebody, it could actually bridge communication and open dialogue up more. But like the cliche says, excuse me, like the cliche says, I ain't trying to hear that shit. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. And you don't have effective communication. You can't have effective communication without empathy.
Yeah. If I feel like I can't, yeah, no. Because if I'm feeling that way about you, I'm feeling that way about. That's just like talking about empathy. A pedo come try to talk to me and try to explain to me why they think that way. If you don't get yourself out of here, you do not. I'm calling the guys. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to sit up here and try to tell. You're not gonna piss on my head, because a lot of people, they try to push their beliefs off on you. Once again, they're trying to get you to understand their reasoning for something, and they got BS reasoning behind it. You're not gonna push all this off on me. So I mean, it's white, black, and it's a gray area. You know, they try to be in that gray area, and so you can be no. Certain things is just set in stone. I'm not playing with it. I'm not. It's principles. It's principles with certain things, and I just can't mess with it.
But what about in a relationship though? Like having empathy with your partner. When you have that mentality, because you do sometimes, you have that mentality when people are trying to justify, I would say something, and I don't even know if justification is the right word. When people are trying to express why they did something to you, and or why something happened, or why they couldn't do something, um those are looked at as though, if you don't have empathy, you can't get the full grasp on a person's position and why they behave in a certain kind of way, or why they're doing things a certain kind of way. It's the same thing as you, like you said, you haven't, that's against your beliefs. That's against what you saying and what you standing on. Could that present a problem in a relationship as far as the communication goes?
It could, but here's the thing with this. Um, I feel like with empathy, there should be boundaries as well. So if I've set boundaries, I don't give a damn about your empathy, because you having empathy against my boundaries, your empathy will allow you to do certain things. My boundaries won't allow me to do certain things. So,
Explain that. Explain that.
okay, because I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I have boundaries. Okay,
Okay.
made up scenario, y'all. Understand this. So, a chick you know, she has car trouble. She say she done called X, Y, and Z. Can't nobody come and help her out. the only other person who she knew will answer their phone to help her is you, because you have empathy towards women. You have empathy. You understand she out there, she's stuck on the side of the road. You can get to her. She's a woman, she out there by her damn self. You know, it's empathy there. It's empty. Dang, I won't want you in your head. I won't want to be stuck out on the road. I won't want my woman stuck out on the road. I won't want your empathy. Now, you take your ass on over there to this heifer car to do some shit. First of all, bitch, before you left home, like, where's your dude at? What was the dude you been laid up with? Why you ain't got insurance? Why you ain't got AAA? Here's my boundaries. My boundaries trumps that empathy. I don't want I'm sorry, you don't work for no tow truck damn company. You're not AAA. You know what I'm saying? You're not Black the handyman. Damn that bitch on the side of the road. Call your father. I'm pretty sure it's 100 dudes in your phone. Why are you calling my man? And I'm being dead ass serious. So my boundaries trump your empathy. I don't give a damn if you got empathy for her. My boundaries say you're not gonna, and my boundaries, I don't want you crossing. Because if you go over there and help that bitch, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't no way in the hell she should be out there driving and she broke. And she ain't got no insurance. And she ain't got this, that, and the third. And knowing she sucking pipe every time she get. And she calling Dewan and Wayne and all them other damn people. But you calling my man to help you. Bitch, what was the dudes you been talking to on Facebook? When you posting up the pictures, commenting on your ass. All this other stuff. Don't call my dude. So once again, my boundaries trump your empathy. So if you cross those boundaries to show somebody some empathy, it's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. See, and a lot of women have boundaries when it comes to the relationship, but men have empathy.
You don't think women have empathy as well?
Stupid ones.
But I'm gonna say this. That's just one instance, because I don't want to get swallowed by that, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I agree with you in that perspective. Because that don't happen. We not. It's a made up scenario.
Yeah, it's a made up.
Because I wouldn't even come like that, because y'all already see what I'm dealing with over here. Yeah, but I'm gonna say that's just one thing though. But because what about when it comes directly with your partner? You know what I'm saying? To where they trying to explain something that maybe went on, or why they made a decision and stuff like that, and they need you to have empathy for them, like maybe. In another made up scenario, you spent this amount of money and stuff like that, and it shouldn't have been spent, or whatever the case may be, but you made a judgment call from that situation and you feel like it was necessary to do that, but you ain't trying to hear that, because you thugged it out in some kind of way in the past or something, and you didn't do it, and so you expect why you didn't do it, and it becomes an issue to where you can't really feel why they did that shit. You don't feel it. You can't feel it. You know what I'm saying? And it causes an argument from that standpoint.
I can't. Me personally, I'm speaking for me only. That money situation, I can't get that I can't put it in my head, for the simple fact that's not. You don't spend money. Your life. That's not my life. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's not my life at all. You don't, and I know damn well you're not. If you spend some money. First of all, if you spend some money, I know damn well it's for something good. You know, but let me say it like this. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want you doing anything to me that I wouldn't do to you. There are certain things in this world, and you notice they're in life, and it just is what it is. I'm set in my ways. I wouldn't dare do to you, no matter what the circumstance is. No matter what the circumstance is, I wouldn't dare do it to you. So if you know I wouldn't dare do it to you, please don't do it to me. Treat me the way you want to be treated. So that's what that when I say there are things in this world I wouldn't dare do, that's my boundary. That's it. That's my wall, and that's set in stone. So if you know this, and you've been a witness that this is a no-go, why would you go ahead and think it's okay?
Empathy is tricky. Out of all of the situations, it's a very tricky one. But I do believe in empathy. I always empathize with people. I always try to put myself in their shoes to try to figure out what I would have made the decision or made the same decision. Is it justifiable? Is it reasonable? Is it rational? A lot of these things go through my head because I like I said, I reflect on things. Like in communicating, I go through these things. I reflect on things. I clarify things. I'm a very rational person at this stage in my life because that has saved my life. Cognitive thinking and being able to communicate at this stage have not only saved my life, but brought a lot of success to me. You know what I'm saying? Being able to think rationally has brought a lot of success to me. And so empathy, but I can see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. I'm not knocking you on that. But like I said, it's also a reflection on who we are. You know what I mean? And that's just who we are. But also the next one is in effective communication is avoiding interruptions. You know what I mean? Avoiding interruptions, resisting the urge to interrupt and respond immediately, allowing the speaker to fully express themselves. I'm gonna be honest with you. I struggle with this. I struggle with this because when people try to make a whole bunch of points, I want to get one point at a time. I want to discuss one point, like you do this, you do that, da, 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 da. I want to, okay, let's take this and dissect. And you know, I struggle with this. You know what I mean? You know, I struggle with this. I try to go through each point and try to dissect it and try to resolve it before we move on to the next thing, because I think that's important to you, but important to the situation at hand. You know what I'm saying? For myself and for you. But what's your perspective on avoiding interruption and respond to that with me?
That interruption thing can erupt into a volcano. It's like, yo, can I talk? I think it's important you allow the other person to finish their thought, because maybe they're going to say something that you're thinking. You can't think for another person. You can't speak for them either. And maybe if you allow them to finish their thought, whatever the problem is can possibly be solved in 100 words or less. And if you like me, when I'm upset, it's like, if I got a point, let me get that damn point out, because I get scatterbrained and nothing is going to make sense after a while. And it just is what it is. So I think it's important. It's important. And another thing, the time that you're waiting on that person to finish their thought, maybe you could be calming down. Maybe you could be calming down, digressing, you know, maybe. But
yeah, it's definitely something I need to work on out of that, because I think I'm pretty decent out of everything that we went through so far. Full attention, nonverbal engagements, full attention, giving your undivided attention to people, nonverbal engagement, using your body language to show intensiveness, reflecting, paraphrasing or summarizing what the person was saying to you to ensure they understand, clarifying, asking to clarify points to get more information, empathizing, demonstrating understanding and empathy for the speaker's feelings or the person's feelings, and avoiding the interruptions. What do you, out of those six, what do you think that how many of those do you think that you strong in, and how many of those do you think you lacking?
I'm strong in avoiding interruptions.
Mm.
I'm not strong in the listening part, because stuff will get heated. It will get heated. And then I have, like, after the whole situation, I have to sit back and reflect on what has happened and determine if I'm right or wrong, you know, and if an apology is owed. And this is what I do after every interaction or whatever. I have to figure, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but if it's on my mind, it's something wrong. So I try to reflect on everything that you say. Like, even now, like, it's stuff that you've said to me days ago. I think about it and it's like, okay. What's the other four?
Okay, full attention, nonverbal engagement, reflecting, clarifying, empathizing, avoiding interruption. And there's two more coming after that, but those six, I went over that.
I'm strong at two.
And you
I'm
know
strong
what?
at three in the possible. Three in the possible. You know, the body language, I'm good at that. And the clarification. I've really got good at the clarification. I have to pat myself on the back just to make sure we on the same page. Hey, did you say this? Ain't this what you said? Like, yeah. It was three in the possible. Yeah.
But you know what's crazy is
What?
your strong the things that you claim to be the strongest at
It's my weakest.
no, they're not your weakest. What I'm saying is they cancel each other out. Like you're very good
Yeah.
at avoiding the interruption. But when you avoid the interruption, if you're not listening or fully attentive on what the person is saying, what good is you doing to yourself in the communication process?
I'm listening. At this point, I'm listening. Effective list. I'm listening
Actively
at this point.
listening.
Active. You know what I'm saying? Actively listening.
Mm.
I'm listening now. Now it depends on what you're talking about, because in my head it's like this some
You
bull.
selectively listening.
No, I ain't selectively listen because I'm trying to see if you're trying to justify what I'm heated about. You
You
know,
selective. You're probing for ammunition.
you
You
know what? You're
probing for
right.
ammunition.
You're
I'm
right.
just saying.
I
I'm
got that.
saying, and just us having this conversation because everybody do this to you. Everybody do this. I do this. I'm looking at these things, and I see where I'm weak at, and I'm like, damn, maybe I could do better in it because these are the things that really constitute that you listening to somebody. This
That's
like
true.
if you ain't doing these things, if you're not doing these things, you're not listening. If you playing in your phone, just looking for key points of what somebody said, you're not listening. And when you're not listening to somebody, you disrespecting the relationship. You know what I mean? And you don't want nobody doing that to you. I would imagine a person wouldn't want another person half-ass listening to them. And I mean, that's why we having these conversations because people do these things. I do these things, and this is just a checklist that we're going through as far as active listening, and these are just effective communication. But we're on active listening and what constitutes active listening at this point. And what about the next one is going to be responding appropriately, giving a thoughtful, relevant response that contributes to the conversation and indicates to the speaker that you have understood their points. When you're having these discussions and you go through these things, I'm gonna just be real with you, and things can get hectic and become combative. Do people even actually get to this point in active listening? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that we even. I don't this last number 7. I don't even know that I even get to this in communications a lot, especially in a relationship when we having a discussion or we're in the point to where we really do have to actively listen to make progress in our relationship. How often are we actually getting to the responding appropriately, which is giving thoughtful and relevant response to contribute to the conversation to indicate that that the person has been understood? Or how often do we get there?
Well, truth be told, verbally we haven't got there, but action wise, we've most definitely got there.
Yo, yeah.
Between the both of us, we're action people. So if you tell me something, it just is what it is. If you tell me it's something that you don't like, or hey, yada yada yada, handle that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna give you. You know what? We do respond appropriately. We do that. You know, we do.
Do you think that's more recently though, as we've evolved in our relationship? In the beginning, no, I don't think so.
Like I said, every day between me and you, like every day we're learning something new about ourselves. Every day we're learning something new about each other. And every day we work towards our relation and we work hard. Like relationships are hard work. We really put in work. You know, we don't have work, sex, fight type of relationship. We really have a whole relationship. We build businesses, we build brands. In order for us to build these type of businesses that we have to communicate. You know, we don't go to sleep angry. We don't go to sleep angry at all. And like I said, we can count on one hand the time in 3 years, one hand the times that we've actually had spats. It just is what it is. Our relationships go through it because we're in a relationship. We two people, we live under the same roof. We have to talk about what's going on. Hey, I'm not feeling this. Why aren't you feeling this? We do this. I really do, especially as of lately.
Yeah, I agree with you as of late. because we are becoming more effective communicators. I struggle with this, and we're going to get to the other side of this conversation, which I think is extremely important. But I want to the last one, and the last one in active listening is remembering. Retaining the information shared, which may involve taking mental or physical notes, especially in a professional or educational setting. But it's also in a relationship setting. Remembering is important to me because when you remembering, you don't want to go down that path no more. You don't want to see. You don't. It's That's why remembering is so extremely important between a man and a woman. You know what I mean? That's very important. Listen, I wanna switch gears a little bit because the foundation of communication is active listening. You know what I'm saying? Being able to express yourself. I think as a person that I believe you need to be able to talk. I think that's important, but I think it's more important that you're able to listen and let people know that you are listening to them and be able to communicate back to them that you are internalizing the information that they're telling you and their feelings and stuff like that, and being able to express your feelings the same way to them that they expressing them to you, and they receive it the way that you receive it, especially in a relationship and a situation with y'all that two people are in. We're going to go on to another thing that I wanted to talk about, which was enhancing your relationship dynamics. You know what I'm saying? I want to know, what do you think about appreciation and gratitude? How important are appreciation and gratitude in a relationship to you?
It's very important. I like to cook for my man. I like to cook. And I love seeing an empty plate. It lets me know I did a good job because when I cook it, I cook his food with love. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else got that regular pie. He got that baby pie right there. That's that good stuff. It's little things, and it doesn't have to be verbal. It doesn't have to be verbal. But I love the way that I'm appreciated. And
Mm,
I have never been appreciated the way I have never been appreciated the way I have been with you, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like everything. It's not only the food, but it's how you provide for me, how you love me. I'm crazy as hell. I'm having one of those breakdowns. I'm having one of those breakdowns. Even when I come in your office and you working hard, you still take, I don't care if it's 60 seconds to
mm,
acknowledge me coming in that office just to give me a kiss. Or if I'm walking away, you tell me to come here. Come here. It's those little things go a long way. And it means a lot. It means everything. For a person to appreciate the things that you do for them, because everything I do for you is with love. It's out of love. I love you. So I put my heart into everything. I put my soul into it. Everything. From the shoes, food, washing your clothes, the way your clothes smell, everything.
right.
So just the little gestures and everything, it makes it. Listen, that's the gasoline in the tank. It's the gasoline in the tank, and it's like, yes, baby.
Yeah. I want to say this, that studies have shown that expressing gratitude towards a partner can significantly improve the quality of relationship. Gratitude fosters a positive cycle. This is very important. It fosters a positive cycle of generosity and kindness in relationships. One of the things that you always ask me, you don't even ask me this, I could just tell that it kind of bothers you a little bit when you do something, when you do cook or you clean up my bathroom in my office, or clean up around the house, or you do things that you feel like that you should be doing anyway. That's just who you are as a woman. It confuses you a lot. And one of the things that I know through experience as a man, that gratitude is necessary for a strong household. Appreciation. A person wants to be appreciated, even though it's your man's job to get up every day and take care of his family and all that stuff. Just to know that he's appreciated, just when a man knows that he's appreciated, it makes him work that much harder. It makes his day that much easier because he's doing it for appreciative people, people that appreciate his existence. And people don't understand that. And it's the same thing with your woman. You know, your woman needs to know that she's appreciated. When a woman knows that she's appreciated, you're gonna get that much more out of her. Then it's the same thing with the man. You gonna get that when you know that he appreciated from him making love to you, to him going to work and him doing this and doing. You're gonna have a better man. You're gonna have a better household, and he's gonna always be willing to go above and beyond because he ain't gonna want to let you down. If somebody feel like you already let down, they ain't gonna have no problem going down even more. You see what I'm saying? But when everybody is on pedestals around there and they appreciate it for the work that they put in and the job that they do, that's a completely different environment than a non-appreciative environment. It really is. When they ain't gonna appreciate it anyway. That person, when that person is in the atmosphere, he or she, they're not gonna give you the same kind of attitude or perspective at life. Their way of thinking is completely different. And you don't want to have those people in your environment, but people don't realize that they make those people. They make those people they make those people by not appreciating those people because they just feel like they entitled to those things. And people don't realize they make those people. Kids don't realize they make their parents like that. Parents don't realize they make their kids like that. Your kids busting their ass. I understand being hard on them and they supposed to do this, do that. But kids that are appreciated, they behave a little bit different. Parents that are appreciated, they willing to go more. Husbands that are appreciated, they're gonna go harder for their wife. Women that are appreciated, they gonna go harder for their man. People do not understand the importance of appreciation and gratitude. Gratitude is extremely powerful, but extremely underrated in relationships. You know what I mean? I want to go into something that I don't know if you ever heard of in relationships. It's called the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And the
I
four.
heard of this.
Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I think via you a long time ago.
Maybe we did talk about it a long time ago. It was created by this psychologist. His name is John Gottman. He's a psychologist. It's called the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And I know a lot of people are like, what is the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse? The Four Horsemen of Apocalypse are basically, it's a sign that it's all coming to an end. The world is coming to an end when the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But this isn't from a relationship standpoint. When you see the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse, then you should know that your relationship is coming to an end. You know what I'm saying? And John Gottman, he have one of his claims to fame is that he's been able to pretty much predict. He'll be able to look at a relationship based on sitting with them, and he can predict within 90% that if that relationship is going to work or not. That's one of his claims to fame. And he's been doing this work for like 40 years, and most of his stuff has come through research papers. But I want to go into the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. The first one is criticism. Criticism as an attack on a partner's personality or character. The use of you statements and generalizations. You statements. You never listen to me when I'm talking. You always forget to do your chores. You are so lazy and irresponsible. You don't care about how I feel. You always mess things up. Now, all these are different you statements, like accusatory tone, like somebody accusing you of something. You never listen to me when I'm talking. You're accusing them of something. Blaming. You always forget to do your chores. Judgmental. You are so lazy and irresponsible. Assuming intention. You don't care about how I feel, like an absolute. Disregarding efforts. You always mess things up. So he ain't never done none right, or she ain't never done none right. She always mess things up. You know what I'm saying? It's using absolutes. A generalization is using absolutes. You never think about anyone but yourself. Over exaggeration. You always ignore my calls. Broad assertions. You are always late for everything. Assuming patterns. You never apologize when you're wrong. All encompassing statements. You always take care of your friends. You always take your friend's side over me. You know what I'm saying? There's the types of statements that tend to be perceived as attacks. on a person, character, or behavior, and can lead to other parts of the Four Horsemen. But that's criticisms in relationships. It can cause the effects. It can cause the victim to feel attacked, rejected, and hurt. And relationship to the other horsemen, this is criticism is number one because it opens the door. It opens the door to other things. When people are hearing those things all the time, it opens the door. Have you ever made any of these statements before? I've made these statements before.
You say,
I've
have
made
I
these.
ever made them?
Yeah, have you made these statements before?
I've made a, I've made a few.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a few. Not all of them. They're kind of harsh. They go kind of hard. Here's the thing. Me, like I said, I've heard this before via you a long time ago. But I try to, if I'm saying something to you, it's because I really feel that way. Because inside a relationship, I try to have empathy. In my relationship, I try to have empathy. So if you just done said the hell with my empathy, now I have to say, yeah, you did this. You did, because I feel like, honestly, I feel like you the reason this is happening. Now, if it's my fault, I know you're going to come at me hard. Yeah, I've said these things before. Not all of them, but some of them. Some of that shit just hard.
I mean, it is hard, you know what I'm saying? But I've said those things before. I think that was one of my, like when I was trying to get my thinking together, absolutes, like absolutes. And you always doing this. That's not accurate. And when a person, that goes back to the gratitude situation. You know what I'm saying? When somebody ain't always doing something, it's like you don't appreciate the other things that they've done for them or done for you or done
Ooh,
to the
wait.
relationship.
Oh, wait. I got a story about this one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It was a dude I was dealing with. Didn't have a pot to piss in or wanted to throw it out of. Didn't care because it wasn't about money. You know what I'm saying? It's never about money. It's never about money. Money comes and goes, but good people don't. I felt like he was a good dude. Like I said, when I met him, didn't have a pot to piss in or wanted to throw it out of. He became my bill. I didn't care because I had money. Now, when things went sideways with me, he was the flight type. He wasn't the one to stick around. And when I was down, you know what I'm saying? And so things start coming out about him, like infidelity and all this other stuff, cheating and all. So, y'all, what is you on? And all this. And instead of him answering to why is this going on, instead of him admitting what's the wrongs or whatever, he starts telling me, you ain't never did nothing for me. The car you drive, your CDL, your schooling, the clothes, your shoes, your drawers. I've never done nothing. Nothing? Not one thing, huh? Say less.
But do you see how easy somebody can forget that?
Quick! I done had a kid of mine tell me that. So, you crazy?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's a sign that this is the end. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to the next one after the criticism and the absolutes. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to the next of the Four Horsemen, because once you start blaming and saying these negative things about people, you always do this, people start thinking a certain kind of way, and that you opening up their mind and putting them on different paths that they probably wouldn't. The next one after the criticism had opened up other doors is content. You know what I'm saying? Contempt. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know what contempt is. Contempt is an intentional insult or psychological abuse. Psychological abuse, disrespect, name calling, hostile humor, which is sarcasm. You know what I'm saying? Your fat ass thing. You think body language like eye rolling. Motherfucker, after everything you say, after everything you say, the person rolling their eyes, doing all that old weird, doing things like that after things that you say. Contempt is after the criticism, it turns into contempt. That's the next thing, or that's the next stage of it. Mockery, superiority, demonstrating an attitude of superiority, implying that the person is inferior or worthless. Dismissiveness, showing overt disregard for the other person's thoughts or feelings. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. In relationships, and this happens. Have you ever, is in psychological abuse, of course, where the goal is to make the other person feel small, unvalued, and unworthy. Have you done these things to a person?
Believe it or not, I have not. Have I
Really?
had? I have not. I have not.
Mhm.
Because I don't want you hurting my feelings. I don't
Mm.
want you beating me down in our relationship. So why would I do it to you? I try to think about that. I don't try to say hurtful things. I try my best, my hardest, not to make you feel a way that I don't want you making me feel. But have I had those things said to me? Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have I had them done to me? Absolutely. I got some stories. Absolutely.
And when these things, and these, let me be clear, these ain't steps. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. I want to make sure that these are things that are introduced into the relationship. These are things that they evolve. You can kind of look at it as steps, because once you start doing one, another one may come, but it's not necessarily a step thing. These are behaviors that come into the relationship after you've opened doors of criticism, and after criticism and contempt comes. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me, I have with contempt when I get, and it's not in our relationship, because as I've grown, I've learned, but I have done that in the past, but I've been through a multitude of relationships in the past, and done things and said things that I wasn't necessarily proud of in those past relationships, that I probably could have not probably I could have done better and conducted myself better had I been familiar and understood in totality what I was doing to the other person. Contempt is very hard. And when you read this and you realize what you're doing to a person, it may not even tell you what you're doing to a person, but when you hear yourself say these things in a situation to where you just like a kind of neutral setting, you can see where somebody would be like, you can erode a person's personality or tear them down and make them feel less than, and put them in a situation where they don't want to be there. Or you could tear a person down so badly that you don't want to be there, because you've destroyed that person so much that you don't even want to be in that situation no more with them, because you did that yourself. A lot of dudes don't, or a lot of people don't realize that, when you tearing something down, you actually succeed sometimes. You may have had the Empire State Building when you got her, but you destroyed her so bad, or you destroyed him so bad, you beat him down or beat her down till they're not the Empire State Building no
A
more. They
liquor
stop being
store.
they a liquor store. Yeah, they a liquor store now, because you destroyed it. You made that. And I don't think a lot of people really take full responsibility in that. They don't really understand that. But when you're going through things like that, or going through these steps and this process, and what this is, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, you really can really see where you have done those things, and really reflect on what you've done and who you are. So I have done this. The next one of the four horsemen of apocalypse is defensiveness. Okay. And that's why I said it's not really a step thing, but the defensive person could be the victim, the alleged victim, or the weaker one in a relationship. It's basically a natural response to criticism or contempt. It's like shifting blame, because once a person gets into a situation where they bullying somebody, you was supposed to do this, they're not accepting the weaker one, or maybe either person could really do this though. They begin to shift blame and avoid responsibility for their actions. You were supposed to do this. You were supposed to take the trash out. I was busy. I was late at work, but that's your responsibility. You know what I'm saying? You were supposed to do it, but they're never accountable for anything that they do. Defensiveness, that's another one that's in there. It's the third of the four horsemen. It escalates the conflict rather than resolving it. And as far as the defensive goes, it escalates instead of resolving it. And I want to go through some examples of defensiveness, making excuses. I didn't clean the kitchen because I was too tired after work, cross complaining, responding to a complaint with a counter complaint. You like, for example, you're upset because you're upset I forgot to call your mother. What about the time you forgot my office party? The cross complaining. You upset because I ain't call your mama. But what about that time you missed my office party? Yeah, but it's basically like cross complaining and responding to a complaint with a counter complaint. You upset I forgot to call your mother. What about the time you forgot to call the office party? It's playing the victim. You're always pointing out what I do wrong. It's like I can never make, it's like I can never make you happy. Things like that. Denying responsibility, repeating yourself. Yes, but you know what I'm saying? Yes, I forgot to pay the bills, but you know how busy I've been lately. The whataboutism. It's deflecting attention from the issue by bringing up the partner's fault. But what about the time you overspent our budget? All those things are defensiveness, you know what I'm saying? And once people start doing that in that process, it's a sign that it's an end, because nobody is accepting accountability. Nobody is accepting responsibility. I guess I'm gonna ask you a question. Once you get into a situation to where people are treating you bad, disrespecting you and stuff like that all the time, showing contempt to you, criticizing you, saying a negative thing, how hard is it for you to even accept accountability in that environment? And do you want to accept accountability anymore after you've been going through these things in the Four Horsemen?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Me, I'm a fighter. So if I chose to be in a relationship with you, it's a certain level of abuse that I will take, if that makes sense. Because I want to see my relationship through. Not so I don't have to be by myself, but anything that I have, I feel like it's worth fighting for. But when you just want to keep beating me down, it's like, what's your thing? I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go. But before I let you go, I'm gonna fight. Maybe it's something I did wrong. Let me look at me before I look at you. I'm always gonna check self before I check you. I'm not just gonna say, oh, you just doing this, I'm gone. No, let me look and see if it's really something wrong with me, before I double back around. So I'm gonna check me out first. And then when I see it's not me, it's you, I gotta let you go.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I agree with you on that. I think, like I said, and with the defensiveness. I hope I'm saying it right. With the defensiveness, I think when it's getting to that point to where people are even afraid to accept responsibility or accountability, or they just not doing it because they don't want to fight, I think their relationship is definitely on the last leg, because that's a breakdown in communication that you probably can't get back. And that's what we're talking about. All this stuff is in regards with being able to communicate. And the last one I think is extremely important in in the Four Horsemen is stonewalling. I don't know if you ever heard of this word with stonewalling, but it's withdrawing from the interaction and shutting down communication. Overwhelmed from the negativity created by the first three horsemen. It results in you just shut down. You'll be like, oh, okay. You just move on from the shit. You know what I'm saying? It conveys disapproval and it makes you distance, and it hinders conflict resolution. So it's no end. Once you do the stonewalling, y'all don't fix the problem. The problem is still up there, but the person just is not. They have no intention. The people have no intention to even. I'm done with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving on. Have you seen that a lot, or what do you think about that as far as stonewalling in relationships?
I'm the stonewaller. I'm not gonna lie. Once I check myself, if you coming at me crazy, if you're coming at me crazy, you coming at me crazy. Like I said, I'm gonna fight for my relationship. I'm gonna fight for it because maybe some signals, some wires got crossed, and some signals are off or whatever. Maybe this can be salvaged. But if you keep going, and it's just nothing I can do with that, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not gonna keep allowing you to abuse me. Because I gave you the opportunity to treat me right. I fixed what I thought was wrong. And I gave you the opportunity to meet me halfway, but you don't want to meet me halfway. You just want to keep beating on me. That's not going to happen. So I'm the stonewaller. It's like I get gone.
Look, I'm guilty of stonewalling. I'm a stonewaller as well. Once I've done tried to talk about it and stuff like that, once I done tried to get to where I need to get, and you don't want to talk about it no more, then I mean, you don't want to talk about it no more. If I feel like it's no future in it and it's not constructive or nothing like that, I'll shut it down and I'll walk away. I don't like to argue. You know what I'm saying? At this stage in life, I'm not big on arguing and confrontations and shit like that and stuff like that. I really think that that's a waste of time. But to go on beyond that, I do want to give some antidotes. I'm going to ask you. So we've found out the four horsemen of apocalypse. Once you going through all this, it's a 90% chance. You're going through all these consistently, it's a 90% chance that your relationship ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? You might as well hang it up. But no, then those four things are criticism, contempt, and defensiveness, and stonewalling. What is your approach to combating criticism? Again, criticism is an attack on you, attack on a partner's personality, character, use of you statements, and generalization. What are some of your antidotes to that you do to combat that?
I trust my partner. If I'm with you, that means I trust you. So if you're telling me something, if it's criticism, I might not like it, but of course, who likes to be criticized? But let me, once again, I'm going to check myself. All right, let me go make sure my stuff is airtight over here. That way, if I see this coming back again, it's something else up. It, we're not always 100% like we think we are. And sometimes that criticism is what put us back on our A game. So I'm not going to just shut down because I get criticized. I don't do everything 150% right. I can't make grits to save my damn life. So if I'd have made you some grits and they gritty, who am I to get mad that you criticize me? If I got stuff sitting all the way around and you tell me I don't like all this stuff around, this little cluttery walk off the bed, I might get mad because you telling me I'm dirty. You know what I'm saying? But let me rearrange some stuff. Once again, if somebody's criticizing you, especially if you, like I say, I trust you. I'm just going to speak on you. I trust you. So if you opening your mouth and saying something to me, it's pulling my coattail on something. Hey, let me check something out over here. Let me get myself together. I'm not just gonna fall off the face of the earth and melt into the cracks of the ground and just say, oh, I'm done with this because I can't keep being criticized. No, bitch, look and see what's going on. What's wrong? You know, everybody is so quick to give, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this. Everybody be so quick to give up on a relationship. And certain things can be fixed. It really can be fixed. But nobody wants to feel like they're the problem. I feel like egos do not belong inside relationships. Egos do not belong in their relationship killers. So if you're telling me something, I need to listen to what you're saying because that's important to you. It's important to you, and I need to go check that. It is what it is. And then if I've checked that and you still coming at me with some BS, okay, what's the real issue? But never get too big-headed that you can't check yourself. Or you can't take no criticism. Criticism is good. Criticism makes some of the best damn people in the world. Like, and your partner, you should have an open mind to certain things. Once again, you might not like it. Because who likes being criticized? But hey babe, you don't smell too right today. Go wash your ass. You criticizing me. No, I'm just telling you funky. You know, I once again, I trust my partner. I'm not saying that happened, y'all. I've just said
No.
something. That's not one of the things. But if a person is criticizing you inside the relationship, you shouldn't even look at it, especially if you trust them. Once again, I trust you. So if you telling me something, I feel like it's coming from a place of love. I'm not too big-headed. I don't have too big of an ego that I can't say, oh, let me go fix this. And that's how I am. I'm willing to listen. I can maneuver. Damn it. You don't like that couch right there? Baby, I'm pushing on over. I got you. It's cool because it's no problem. It's not a problem. Once again, I'm willing to fight for what I want. I'm willing to fight for what I want, especially if I know it's gonna keep me in a right space.
Yeah.
Sometimes we be off. It's okay.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. The what the doctor says, and I'm gonna just go off of what you said, and I'm gonna go to what the doctor says. Doctor Gottman, what he says, and he created this lineup. He said the antidote for criticism is to use a soft or gentle startup. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being hard and using a tone that could offend the person, he said avoid using you statements such as "you did," which feel like an attack that indicates blame, and instead talk about your feelings using I statements and express what you need in a positive way. You always talk about yourself. You're so selfish. I'm feeling left out of your talk tonight. I need to process my day. It's been difficult. Can we talk? Okay, so he's saying like you always talk about yourself. You're so selfish. Instead of saying that, you always talk about yourself. You're so selfish. He says you should say something like, "I'm feeling left out tonight. I'm feeling left out of our talk tonight. I need to process my day. It's been difficult. Can we please talk about my day?" Using things like I feel instead of you. Use I statements instead of you statements. I guess that's what he's saying. Use I statements instead of you statements. That's how you combat criticism or criticizing somebody or making somebody feel criticized. You know what I'm saying? What's your strategy to antidote contempt, tearing people down, insulting them, and stuff like that? How do you combat that? What's your solution for that in a relationship?
Me personally, I don't put that in my relationship. That's not a
Mm,
thing. I don't want to tear down my partner. My partner is not my enemy, so there's no reason for me to be tearing my partner down. I don't have no ill will towards you. I don't want you. You have to go out here in the world and provide for me and provide for us and provide for our family. So why do I want you in that mental state?
mm,
Once again, if somebody is you this, you this, you this, you this, all right, let me. I'm gonna always look at me first. I am I this? You know, I'm a question. Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? And when I can't find fault and when I can't find the right to that statement, then it's a problem. But I'm gonna look at me. Okay, maybe something was wrong. I'm sorry. Everybody is not that way. But inside, once again, inside my relationship, there's no ego. There's no ego. Maybe you picked up on something that I didn't. So let me check me out. Okay, you saying all this. Let me check me out and see if I'm wrong. And if I can't find no fault, hey, okay, what's the real problem? And if you keep going, I have to let you go. Because it's something else there and you don't want to say it. And it's like,
I definitely agree with that, and that's what we talked about earlier. That go back to what we talking about, and this is the answer. The antidote for contempt is to build a culture of appreciation and respect in your relationship. And there's a few ways of doing this, such as expressing appreciation, gratitude, affection, and respect for your partner. And I mean, and I think that's why it's very difficult for you to understand that portion, because we don't do that. We don't do that, and we've been through that on I've been through that on both sides. You've been through that on that's happened to you. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to make nobody feel like that. So it's a very strong degree of empathy and that not being around. But for people that are going through that, that's why one of the reasons why we began this portion talking about the power of appreciation and gratitude. You know what I mean? Because gratitude that eradicates your desire to even want to disrespect your partner on that level. You know what I'm saying? And for that horseman to even enter your relationship, you can completely destroy that with appreciation and gratitude and affection for your partner. And I also want to, Dr. Gottman also he has something called a 5-to-1 ratio. He say for every negative things, it should be 5 positive things. You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you have 5 or more positive interactions for every, you got to have 5 or 1 positive interactions for every negative one. You know what I'm saying? So you can put the positive in your bank. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you get that, you need to have 5 good things. Y'all need to work at that. And because you're gonna have negative things, but for that one negative thing, you need to have 5 good things stored in the bank that happen. and have those things locked in. And also, like I said, it's very important for appreciation and gratitude and stuff like that. Once you build that environment, it's very hard for something for contempt to enter into your relationship. You know what I'm saying? What's your antidote for defensiveness? What's your antidote for people that shift the blame and don't accept responsibility for nothing? What's your solution to stop that for people?
You can't stop that if somebody's always defensive. You
Mm.
can't stop that. They have to stop that. What I can stop is me stop talking to your ass. That's what I can stop. I'm not gonna do this. You know damn well you supposed to take the garbage out. Or you know you was supposed to do that. And I can't control what you say out of your mouth. The only person I have control of is me. So I don't have to.
Yeah. And defensiveness is very simple. Take responsibility for your actions. If you did some bullshit, if you did some BS, take responsibility for it. You know that, and that's for both parts. But because that seems to be like a countering thing. You can come into a situation where one person is a complete BSer and the other person is not. But once the person is dealing with a BSer, they make the other person like that, and then it turn into who can BS each other the best. Cause I got something for his ass. I got something for her. I ain't putting up with that BS. You know what I'm saying? But take responsibility for your actions, and that'll help on both sides. Like this, your wife say, "Did you take the garbage out?" And you might say, "I was at work all night. I couldn't take the garbage out." You make an excuse. You was at work all night instead of saying, "My bad, baby. I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm gonna make sure that I get on top of that." Take responsibility for it. Don't nobody want to hear your BS excuses, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to hold yourself accountable. If you keep doing it, you probably a sorry MF. You know what I'm saying? You got to own that. You know what I'm saying? But if don't nobody want to own that, you're gonna continuously run into problems. And the last one, of course, is stonewalling when people are completely shitting down. What's your solution from your personal experience of stonewalling? What's your solution to that?
The shutting down, I told you I'm the shut downer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the shut downer. But if I had to deal with it, you talking about all the time or just one time or what?
I mean, just that when that starts to happen, it's withdrawing from interaction, shutting down communication. You know what I'm saying? You know how when people
I'm going,
when
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tired, when you burnt out of that shit, you just don't want to. What is your solution for people that are going through that?
Well, if that's a person you want to be with, you listen, if it's a person you want to be with, you try everything. You go through all the steps to try to get them to communicate with you. You have to fight for your relationship if that's a relationship you want. Because sometimes we people just be tired at that moment. They don't be tired all the time. So if they don't want to talk, look, I'm gonna open my mouth and say, hey, we not vibing right now. We not vibing. What's up? Cause I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. And if you're not willing to meet me halfway, get in the ring with me and fight for this, then what more can I do?
Mm.
One more. One more. But what I am gonna do, I'm gonna do everything I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna follow my protocols to let you know, hey, I'm still in this. If you just saying the hell with me, I'm going on about my business. But
Mm.
before I get to the stonewalling, you have to say the hell with me with those other steps. It just is what it is. My stonewalling is I'm out the door. I'm gone.
Look, the stonewalling. I think it has a great antidote or solution from Dr. Gottman. He says the antidote for stonewalling is physiological self-soothing. In one of his research studies, he interrupted couples after 15 minutes of an argument. So he'll let them argue for 15 minutes, and then he told them he needed to adjust his equipment. He said he asked them not to talk about their relationship, but just to read magazines for a half an hour. When the couple started talking again, their heart rates were much lower. After they took that 30-minute break and was just reading magazines, their heart rate was much lower, and their interaction was much more respectful and productive. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at what happened during the half an hour. Each partner physiologically self-soothed themselves by reading magazines and stopped the discussion as they felt much calmer and they were able to return to discussion in a much respectful and rational way. He would he basically made them take a break from each other. And not to the point to where they took a break and nobody talked about it no more. You know, the dude, you go on a walk or you read a magazine or whatever. And then after you calm down, you can address the situation. You know what I mean? Look, like, and he even got a conversation where the person goes, "Look, we've been through this over and over again." Like, you know, those are things that people say when they don't want to deal with your ass. We have been through this all over and over again. I don't want to talk about this no more. And say, it's the alternate is, darling, or baby, I'm sorry. Let me stop you right there. I'm feeling overwhelmed and upset right now. Can we take a break for 20 minutes? Then we can talk about this. You know what I'm saying? So the break should last at least 20 minutes because it would take that long before your body can physiologically calm down. These are the things that we wanted to talk about tonight because I think these are things that are important in effective communication. It's a lot of different things. There's a lot of things that I can talk about as far as effective communication, but these I think are going to help people. I mean, do you think this conversation that we had tonight is beneficial and can help people by any means?
Absolutely. Right now, the day and age we live in, women are tearing down men, men are tearing down women, especially amongst our people. Everybody act like the opposite sex is
Enemy.
the enemy, and it's not that. It's not that. I don't. That stuff disgusts me. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on healthy relationships. And even though we think we are good, I'm speaking for self, we think we know everything when it comes to a relationship, especially keeping the other person happy. It's always something more you can learn each and every day. So if we, I mean, practice make perfect. So if we just implement one step, a step every day, or be mindful of those things, I mean, life would be so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just too much negative stuff for me and to even be participating in. I don't want to have the discussions about why dudes do this and why women do that. I'm not interested in that. I think I want to dive more into more solutions and how we can help each other and then be building each other in the process and using and developing tools to make ourselves stronger because a lot of this stuff is we're approaching this, we're not perfect, we're not doing all these things, we're not even aware of all these things, we're becoming aware. And and I think one of the terms that you use that we kind of left out of this situation that definitely needs to be brought to the forefront is open-mindedness. Having an open mind for your partner in relationships and things like that, having an open mind. And I have that and you have that, and we learning together, we're growing together. And I think that this is content that's much needed, and that's why we doing what we doing. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's why I'm doing it.
It's the same here. It's the same here. I don't know everything when it comes to a relationship because I haven't had a healthy relationship. This is my first healthy relationship. And I'm going to say it again. This is my first healthy relationship. This is my first relationship that I'm able to be a woman and feel womanly. So I want to know, how do I hold on to my relationship? It is what it is. How can I make you happy? I know what makes me happy. How can I make you happy? I know the surface things, but I want to know the deep down things. I want to know, how can I have longevity in my relationship. So maybe it's things here that I hadn't implemented, but now I am. It just is what it is. So, like I say, we learning one another every day. We learn about our relationship. We put something new in there every day. It can't hurt nothing.
Yeah. Likewise, and I want to reciprocate that. And I think that's very important. But that's basically what we're doing every week. And I want to say thank you. You're doing an amazing job, and I appreciate you for coming through. Is there anything else that you want to tell everybody before we get out of here?
I appreciate you. I'm just gonna tell you that, and I tell you that every day. I appreciate you so
Right.
much, and I love you so much.
Likewise. Likewise. I
Listen,
love you
you
too.
guys. Thank you, baby. Listen, you guys. Black has given us a gang of steps. So hopefully, if you haven't, maybe y'all can start using some. if it's beneficial to you guys. And we want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay smooth.